You live in the UK, opening a stocks and shares ISA is one of the best financial decisions you will ever make. It is certainly one of the best I ever made. Now, a stocks and shares ISA is a financial product that allows you to invest up to £20,000 per year into the stock market. It's different from a cash ISA. So a cash ISA means that you're putting money in, again, up to £20,000, again, over the course of a year, and you will get a set return. This is historically, over the last few years, been pathetically low, and the stock market has far exceeded any potential gains. But if you're looking for the security of knowing you're going to get 3-4%, then maybe a cash ISA is for you. What we're talking about today is a stocks and shares ISA. It is a tool that allows you to significantly grow your wealth over the long term. It's completely tax-free. Any gains that you make in there are completely tax-free. It doesn't matter if it 10x's, if it 100x's, whatever it's worth in the end is completely tax-free. Now, the tax you pay, you've already paid on your salary. So the cash that you have in your bank account after you get paid, you put into an ISA, there are no taxes associated with it on any gains and on any dividends that you receive. Now, if you invest outside of an ISA, why you would want to do that, I do not know, unless you have significantly more than £20,000 to do so. You will be paying capital gains tax on any profit, any gains over £3,000. You will be paying tax on any dividends you receive over £500. That can get quite expensive, as well as the fact that you're going to have to start filling in self-assessment forms if you don't already do that. And trust me, it's a bloody pain in the hoop. And who wants to give the government any more money than we need to anyway? Now, like I say, there are loads of them out there, but I'm going to make this video extremely easy. We're not going to go through all of them. I'm going to rule a whole load out, and we'll explain why, and we're going to keep it to just 3. And before we get into them, you need to remember, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just some guy on the internet that has been doing this for a few years and read quite a little bit about it. Don't just trust my advice blindly. Do your own research, all of that sort of good stuff. But what this is my truthful opinion. So this is my genuine opinion based on the research that I've done, based on the history that I've done investing into these stocks and shares ISA. But some of them are affiliates, so I will make a small kickback on some of them. If you use the links below, incidentally, you will get a kickback as well. If you use those links, you won't get that by just Googling them. But I am not basing this on any potential affiliate income. If I was to do that, I would not be recommending any of the ISAs I'm going to be recommending today. There are plenty out there that pay significantly more for some, shall we say, more unscrupulous creators. And in reality, it's not worth me, in terms of my credibility, recommending something that's trash. It's going to cost you a fortune if you're going to listen to another word I say in the future. So it is my genuine opinion here. So we're going to rule the whole load out, as I said, and I'm not even going to list them all. The reason we're going to rule them all out is because their fees are too high. They probably potentially have management fees, which you don't necessarily need. There might be hidden fees in there. There can be all sorts of costs associated with it that you don't need. You don't need to be paying these things. Some of these brokers, some financial institutions very much overcomplicate how hard it is to invest into the stock market. In reality, it's not very difficult at all, and you can get started pretty quickly, pretty easily by just doing a little bit of research and spending a little bit of time understanding how you go about it. So basically, given all of the above, there are 3 real options that you have, as far as I'm concerned. They are Trading 2 and 2, InvestEngine, and Vanguard. Those are the 3 best ISA products in the UK at the moment. In fact, there's a whole load of brokers out there that come over here quite arrogantly believe that they can offer a product without having an ISA associated with it. Like I say, I think it's quite arrogant and for them to do that, because why would you want to invest through a product and not have that tax protection? It makes no sense to me whatever. So we're talking about Lightyear, we're talking about Webull. Perhaps you do. Perhaps you have maxed out your £20,000 allowance. Perhaps you have then maxed out your £60,000 pension allowance. And above that, you've got more cash to spend. Then maybe some of those would be appropriate. Or perhaps sometimes they do pretty good sign-up deals and you just want to get the sign up and you want to run. If that's what you want to do, that's fine. But if you're serious about long-term investing through stocks and shares ISAs, the 3 best at the moment are, as I said, InvestEngine, Trading 2 and 2, and Vanguard. So if you just want to invest into funds, all 3 of them are appropriate. The cheapest way to do it is InvestEngine and Trading 2 and 2. We'll come through that in a minute. Another way of doing it is Vanguard. So Vanguard, what Vanguard has is it has the reputation, it has the credibility, it's been around for years. It has trillions of pounds under management invested. So if you really want that credibility and be able to not have to worry about potentially fees going up in the future or any other aspect of that, Vanguard's going to be your choice. Now, I'll link it below. Like I said, that is not an affiliate link, but it is a really good platform. So you won't get anything, I won't get anything, but it's a really good platform. It is not the cheapest of the 3 though. So I've included it here because it is pretty much the most famous platform there probably is. And with that, you get a sense of security. It is pretty cheap as well, in reality. It's just not as cheap as the other two. So if you want to go through Vanguard, feel free to use that link below, or just Google it. Just Google it, because you're not going to get an affiliate for it. Search Vanguard and get yourself started that way. Like I say, brilliant platform. Not the cheapest, and as far as I'm concerned as well, not the best in terms of functionality. Now, again, if you just want to invest into funds, but you want the cheapest way of doing it, the best way to do that is through Trading 2 and 2 or InvestEngine. You will pay no fees on the platform whatsoever, apart from the fund management fee, which can be as little as 0.07%. In reality, that's not an administration piece of work you need to do. That happens automatically in the background. So it's not an extra piece of work, but you just need to know that wherever you invest in the UK, it is impossible to get away from investing and paying that 0.07% fee, unless you are investing multi-millions of pounds. There are certain funds that exist out there, believe it or not, that most of us have never heard of. The barrier to entry can be 5 million, 10 million quid to get into them. Then you're going to be cheaper than 0.07%. But between you and me, unless you're a multi-millionaire, and if, I don't know how many of them are watching my video, it's probably not going to be the appropriate route to take. Therefore, Trading 2 and 2 and InvestEngine, 0 fees, apart from that fund management fee, is the best way to invest through funds. Now, as I mentioned, Vanguard before are cheap, but not quite as cheap. So you pay that fund fee that you do, as we just mentioned, but you also pay an account management fee of 0.15% on top of that fund fee. Again, absolutely administration free. You don't need to worry about it. It happens in the background. But those little differences, those little increases in terms of fees, they might not matter now, but they significantly increase over the years. They can have an impact on your potential end value of your portfolio. Now, in terms of credibility, we talked about Vanguard having the best, the most recognized platform there is out there. The other two, InvestEngine is probably the newest of the two, and they are still growing. They're still a relatively small company, but you are protected under all UK regulations, FCS, FCA, all of that sort of stuff. You are protected, and up to £85,000, absolutely protected if it was cash. And beyond that, in reality, there's very little risk associated with it as well. Now, if you want to look at the Trustpilot reviews too for InvestEngine, search that up. Actually, I'll put a link for that below too. You can see what other people have thought about the platform and how they've got on with it. Very little complaints, as you'll see. And in reality, it is so cheap. They need to be cheap because there are less known. Now, there could be the potential in the future that they do increase their fees slightly, but if they do that now, they just won't grow. They just won't get that new custom. So they're doing it. They're relying on being cheap in order to get the best custom, to increase their custom as much as they possibly can. Now, the platform in terms of functionality is good. I've used it in previous years, and I'll come on to what I'm going to use this year at the end of the video. But it's easy to use. It's modern. The transactions are straightforward. I've never known it go down. I've never had any problems with it. Trading 2 and 2 then is a little bit more established. It is still one of the new boys though. It's only been around for a few years, so not that long. But again, you are protected. There is so much regulation and legislation in the UK nowadays. It actually makes it really difficult to open one of these brokers. The guys that have opened these brokers it takes years to get through the hurdles to enable you to even open them. Just to trade stocks, just to trade funds, just to trade shares. In order to be able to do that, and then even have an ISA as well, costs a fortune and takes forever. And so these guys, you know, it's not like this isn't 2008 anymore. You can give yourself a level of confidence within these products now, thanks to that legislation that's in place. Now, what you can't do with Vanguard or InvestEngine is invest into any stocks, individual businesses. Now, the best way to invest for 90% of people is to just invest through broad market index funds. So baskets of companies all in one asset, all in one product that you just need to buy and not worry about. You need to drip in as much as you possibly can, as often as you can, for as long as you can, and you will probably end up pretty wealthy. Some people want to invest into stocks as well, so I do. So I've shown my portfolio before in the past. I like to invest into stocks. The majority of my portfolio is within funds, but I do enjoy having to play around with some stocks and shares. So if you want to do that, you can't do it with InvestEngine, you can't do it with Vanguard, but you can do it with Trading 2 and 2. So Trading 2 and 2 offers funds and it offers shares. So you can buy some Apple, you can buy some Coke, whatever you think is going to be the next big thing, you can feel free to do that as well. Now, when you are buying individual stocks and shares, if you buy UK ones, completely free again. However, if you start to want to buy US stocks and shares, there's an additional fee of 0.15 withholding tax. This is only if you're buying US stocks, as I mentioned, and there is no way of getting around it. You pay it When you buy the stock, you pay it when you sell the stock. But if you consider 0.15, if you're buying £100 worth of a US stock, that's 15p. So you pay 15p when you buy it, you'll pay 15p when you sell it for every £100. So, you know, it is tiny amount, but if your portfolio is massive, that will be, it could potentially be significantly more. But there's no way getting around it with any product in the UK. So it's just something you need to accept. Trading 2 and 2, however, have no fees for transactions for buying and selling the shares. So Hargreaves Lansdown, for example, you may have seen in previous videos, I have a Hargreaves Lansdown account. So why am I not recommending it today? Because it's so bloody expensive. So you'll pay £12 to buy a share. You'll pay £12 to sell a share. So unless you are buying thousands of pounds of each individual share, it makes very little sense in order to be doing that. So if you want a bit of both, you want a bit of shares, you want a bit of funds, there is no broker in the UK that is as cheap as Trading 2 and 2. It's got a level of security that's pretty good. Again, check Trustpilot. It comes out pretty good. I have a significant amount of my investments in Trading 2 and 2. I have used it for the last 3 years without any issues whatsoever. Really comfortable with it. Again, if you use that one, is an affiliate link. So if you use the link below, you'll get a free share. I'll get a free share. It could be worth anything up to 100 quid. Typically comes in at about 10, 12 quid. But it's a good way of getting started. All you need to do is sign up, fill in your details, deposit a couple of quid, whatever it is, and you'll get a free share. The affiliate scheme for InvestEngine is slightly different. You'll get up to £50 in cash put into your account. But what you need to do there is deposit £100 in the first instance. So Trading 2 and 2, just need to deposit £1. InvestEngine, you need to deposit £100 and you'll get up to £50 in cash for free. But the most important thing is you just start. If you haven't already started, if you haven't already opened a stocks and shares ISA in the past before, please start now. Now, the thing to consider as well is you get £20,000 per year. That means you have until the 5th of April to put £20,000 in, and that will cover this year. And then from the 6th of April, you can put in another £20,000. So you could put it in on the 5th, 20,000, on the 6th, 20,000, and you are completely tax-free on both of those investments. You can drip it in over the course of the year. You can do it however you want. All the gains, all the profit, tax-free. Important other thing is from 2024, from April 2024, you can have multiple ISAs, which is great. So you can only still invest up to £20,000 max amount, but you can open an ISA with InvestEngine, with Vanguard, with Trading 2 and 2, and Hargreaves Lansdown, for example. You could put £5,000 in each, or you could put £18,000 in one and whatever the balance is in the others. You can do it however you want. Just do not exceed that £20,000 limit. That is what I'm going to do. I'm going to use a couple next year, maybe even 3. I probably will even use all 3 that I've mentioned today because I just want to get a little bit of exposure across those platforms. Also, I'm a financial geek, so I like playing around with them. I like using the ISAs and different products. Now, like I said, it is just my opinion, but I genuinely believe these are the best products there is out there. I am recommending products that will make me much less money than any others. And just question, if you're coming across any other content that's recommending something else, what might be the reason for that? That's all I'm saying. Now, with ISAs, a lot of people have a lot of questions. I want to cover as many of those as bloody possible. So what I want you guys to do is drop as many questions as you possibly can below this. Let me know what you think, and I'm going to do follow-up videos. I'm going to answer as many of those as I possibly can. So any questions you have, just let me know, and we'll do some follow-up content to cover that off. Otherwise, thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate it.